In today's video, we're gonna get a little personal. Imagine this, you find your dream loft in the middle of the city, so you decide to apply. You make 4 times the rent, there's nothing that could possibly go wrong. And then it happens. The landlord calls you with some bad news. They found something on your background check and they wanna ask you some questions. Let's talk about it. I'm Victoria Langford, your credit solutionist and owner of PX Credit Solutions, where we help you secure your financial future today. I help people just like you get into the apartments of their dreams by cleaning up their credit reports. Now, every day, people are denied for apartments because of issues with their background checks. I'm going to show you what steps to take to safeguard your reputation so you don't get caught slipping. As a former landlord, I've denied my fair share of applicants because of negative issues on their background checks. Think of it this way. A landlord only has so much time to get their unit rented, and they don't have time to knock on everybody's door to verify whether or not you're a nice person. Like, let's say your kid comes home every single day and they say, "Little Johnny's been stealing bologna sandwiches out of my backpack, Mom." You probably wouldn't invite little Johnny over to the slumber party. He's got sticky fingers. A landlord has to use this exact same logic when they're looking for a suitable candidate to rent to. Landlords are going to use state and nationwide databases to find out everything they need to know. It's best for you to get ahead of the game by downloading your credit report. We have a trusted partner at MyScoreIQ where you can get your FICO 8 credit score across all 3 bureaus and see what's been reported about you. They even have public records that are listed on there if they exist. You guys, you can't pass a deal like this. So be sure to use our special link in the description below and get started for as little as $1. Now that you have a copy of your report, let's jump into the mind of a landlord and look at some areas that could be cause for concern if we see discrepancies. The first being your identity. Let's say you give a driver's license that says your name is John Smith, but when they run your social for the background check, it shows that your name is George Washington. Okay, now we have questions because why is there such a big difference in the name you gave us versus the name that's in your background check? That could be an issue that a landlord might not even call you about and just outright give you the denial. Next would be your past and present addresses. Make sure that these are showing up properly. If you say that you used to live in California a year ago, but your background check shows that you lived in Arizona, the landlord might wonder why you're leaving out that Arizona address. It definitely is cause for concern because oftentimes people tend to try to hide evictions or if they skipped out on rent. So definitely check your credit report and make sure that the addresses that are reported there also match the reported history that you gave to the landlord on your application. Next up is going to be your criminal history for obvious reasons. Now, just because you have some arrests on your record doesn't mean you're not going to be able to rent. It's the convictions that concern your landlord. Let's say we have one applicant with a conviction for possession versus another with a conviction for an assault. More than likely, the person with the possession is gonna get rented to versus the violent offense because a landlord has to consider what the crime was and how it might interfere with the safety of the tenants and the property as a whole. The landlord also has to consider if you're registered in any type of lifetime offender registries as well. Sometimes the landlord isn't even at liberty to approve you if they wanted to based on the location of the property. These are all things to keep in mind during your apartment search. Next is employment and income. These seem self-explanatory, but hear me out. If you tell me on your application that you have a job in aerospace, but when I check your background, it says you work at Walmart, now I have questions. Can you really afford this $5,000 a month rent? I don't know. When it comes to the income side, we also have to check because if you provide us pay stubs that are fraudulent, we have a right to know that as well. If your paycheck says ABC Liquor is your employer, but when I check your background check, it again says you work at Walmart, well, now I have questions. Did you give us fraudulent pay stubs or is this just unreported employment? It's causing way too many red flags and way too many questions. Often, a landlord's not even going to call you to ask about the discrepancy. They're just going to deny you right away. With all this being said, you might wonder how long your past can follow you on a background check. Well, that depends. According to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA, it can be anywhere from 7 to 10 years. If you have any criminal convictions, those can actually follow you for the rest of your life because it is part of your personal criminal record. Now, if you have some hiccups on your background report, you might be wondering, can I just deny the landlord access to the report? Are you ready to pivot your finances to the next level? Then join the Credit Pro Academy, our free Facebook group where you'll connect with a group of like-minded, financially savvy people just like you. Here, you'll network and share your wins with peers who share your financial goals and challenges. Stay updated with the latest in credit and debt elimination strategies. And best of all, you'll get real-time support from me, the Credit Solutionist. Don't put off your financial growth any longer. Click the link in the description below and join the Credit Pro Academy today. See you there. And the answer is legally, yes, you can. But the landlord also has the mutual right to deny your application, no questions asked. Unless you live in a state like Washington, where in Seattle, it's illegal to run a criminal background check on an applicant, you might just want to take your chances and get the report run. I also recommend getting familiar with fair housing laws as a prospective tenant. You can talk to legal aid for free or talk to a fair housing attorney if you feel that you've been discriminated against. Many people don't know, but there are multiple protected classes in housing. And if you feel like someone is turning you away because you're in one of those classes, you may very well have a case. I'll leave some links in the description below for some resources that just might help you out. Here's the part you've been waiting for, the solution. First, get informed by getting your credit report with public data at MyScoreIQ using the links below for just $1. Next, if there's items that you know for sure are on your criminal history, you may want to talk to an attorney about getting a suppression on some of those items. Next, you probably just want to be honest with your landlord. Honesty is usually the best policy, and sometimes they may accommodate you. And lastly, it may be best for you to go through a private landlord versus a large organization because they do tend to be a lot more forgiving about a questionable past. I do hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give us a like and subscribe to the channel and share this information on your social media with somebody that you think it will benefit. I so look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Credit Solutionist out.